The Nightbeat starts right now.
After the mass shooting at Robb Elementary, many people and organizations stepped in to provide help. But one event that didn't happen left people with more questions than answers. Tonight, the first of our three-part investigative series on a failed benefit event.
And they might be tiny, but they can cause a lot of harm if they end up in the wrong place. A family warning tonight about the dangers of water beads that could be life-altering.
I like meeting all the people and being able to advocate for people with disabilities.
She is spreading her message about living with a disability on the screen and now in books. Find out what makes this local 12-year-old an everyday superhero.
But first, new on the Nightbeat, it is a story we've been following for months now. After the Uvalde school shooting, a man named Nathan Cuomo came to the heartbroken town, promising a festival, vowing to make a recreation center dedicated to the 21 victims.
As the Night Team's Lee Waldman reports, no festival happened, and now some wonder if there were ever plans for one to begin with.
And the first time I met Nathan Baller was kind of a fluke.
Uvalde's Mayor Don McLaughlin met Nathan Baller Cuomo soon after the tragedy at Robb Elementary. McLaughlin says Cuomo told him he was planning a celebrity soccer match in Los Angeles in an effort to help.
Of course, he asked me what I wanted out of this, and I said, look, what I would like to see Uvalde get is a rec center, so we would have something for our kids to do.
A recreation center dedicated to the 21 victims. Rather than a celebrity soccer match across the country, Cuomo said he'd move the match to Uvalde, with a music festival happening at the same time. Cuomo's goal was to raise the millions needed to build a rec center.
Nathan would make a lot of, well, I've got this artist that's going to do this and this artist that's going to do that, and we're going to have this big, festival in Uvalde. And
Cuomo told us the same thing back in October.
We're talking to Bad Bunny. We're talking to him. We're talking to Drake. We're talking to Justin Bieber's family.
It'd be called Balling for Uvalde World Weekend. Cuomo promoted the event online and to Houston's Christian Life Center Academy administrator and pastor, Richard Rodriguez.
He's talked to me about that and some of the activities that he wants to do there and some of the support. It's a huge project, really a huge project.
Rodriguez has known Cuomo for years. Cuomo went to high school there.
Nathan was a great young man, well behaved in school, made good grades.
Though hundreds of miles separate them, Rodriguez and McLaughlin agree. Cuomo's Balling for Uvalde event is ambitious. Well, it was.
I can be out here with you and just going back and forth, but the world is coming to Uvalde on February 4th and 5th. It
would have been an awesome event if it could have come to fruition.
Cuomo promised an event here at the county fairplex that would rival the Super Bowl. It's the end of the long-awaited weekend and still no festival in sight.
If this event doesn't happen, I sure hope nobody was scammed out of funds. That would be terrible.
Back in November, Cuomo told us 4,500 tickets had been sponsored for children to go to the festival. At a minimum, each ticket costs $15. Total, that adds up to $67,500.
So right now, when you sponsor a ticket, Baller Academy is holding that. It's not really a donation per se. It's just you buying for somebody else to go.
Do you think Nathan had ill intentions with what he was hoping to accomplish?
For me, I want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And meeting the guy, no, I didn't think that. But when I look at what transpired and what I've starting to hear and find, then, everything points that maybe he did.
The website for the Balling for Uvalde World Weekend has now been taken down. For weeks before that, the website was locked and password protected. Both the city of Uvalde and the county fairplex have issued statements distancing themselves from Cuomo's event. You heard McLaughlin at the end there talking about things he's heard about Cuomo. We did our own digging. Tomorrow night on the Nightbeat, we're taking you to Houston, where our investigation into his past unveiled Cuomo might not have been who he said he was. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Lee. Well, 4 different street takeovers and 4 different arrests. San Antonio police arrested drivers and seized guns and vehicles following those takeovers. They happened near the Pearl and then on the west and southwest sides. All 4 drivers were arrested after leaving separate meetups. Guns and drugs were found in 2 cars, prompting possession and weapons charges. In another case, the driver was charged with reckless driving and drug possession, and the last driver was arrested for 12 outstanding municipal warrants.
In another case, a driver has been arrested for allegedly chasing a car full of women, crashing into them, and attempting to kidnap a 17-year-old in the back seat. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office confirms 42-year-old Edgar Hernandez Aguilar has been charged with 4 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, evading arrest or detention, and failure to stop and give information. The women say Aguilar might live on their street and said Thursday morning he followed them down Loop 410 near the Evers exit. The arrest affidavit shows when they came to a stop, he yelled for the 17-year-old to get out of the car. When they fought back, he allegedly rammed his truck into their car. They say he took off but was soon arrested by Castle Hills police.
The Bexar County Sheriff's Office is increasing deputy presence at Brennan and Southwest high schools due to recent drug and gun-related incidents. BCSO said in a Facebook post today that starting tomorrow, parents can expect to see the members of the School Safety Task Force for the rest of the school year. The task force is made up of support personnel and deputies from BCSO's gang, mental health, traffic, patrol, and organized crime units. A public safety forum will be held from 6 to 8 p.m. this Thursday, March 23rd at Benny L. Cole Elementary in Northside ISD. Anyone with information about criminal activity can also anonymously send tips to schooltips@bear.org.
New on the Nightbeat, they are colorful like candy and sold for crafts, gardening, and sensory toys. These here are water beads, super absorbent polymer balls that expand when they get wet. Tonight, a mother is on a mission to warn others about the dangers. She tells the Night Team's Marilyn Moritz how a toy changed her daughter's life.
Puppy goes slimy. Kipley loves playgrounds and her toy turtle, but unlike most 6-year-olds,
I put in the middle and perfect.
She's sending letters to poison control centers. This is why. Colorful, squishy water beads.
Kipley woke up and she just started projectile vomiting, and my husband and I were like, this is not normal, this is strange.
Kipley was barely a year old when her parents rushed her to the ER where baffled doctors did exploratory surgery.
When he came out of the surgery room, he showed us a picture, and the picture was water bead material, which is what he found in her small intestine.
Ashley Hogan knew it came from her older daughter's birthday gift. Despite separate play areas and supervision, Kipley somehow swallowed water beads.
We had no idea that this could be what was making Kipley so sick.
Straight out of the package, a water bead is this tiny, but after it gets wet, it grows to this. And a bead this size, in a few hours, it grows to the size of a ping pong ball. It's more than a choking hazard. If a child finds and swallows one, it can grow in the body. And it's happening. In Pennsylvania, baby Harper was mysteriously very sick until doctors found water beads blocking her intestine. In Maine, a mother's TikTok went viral as she updated baby Kennedy's fight for her life. Both babies are recovering. But Kipley's scare didn't end with surgery. Within weeks,
she wasn't talking anymore. She was weaker. She was not herself.
A developmental pediatrician diagnosed Kipley with toxic brain encephalopathy caused by acrylamide poisoning. Hogan believes it was residue from the water beads. The American Academy of Pediatrics has now updated its warning, quote, while the beads are labeled as non-toxic, concerns also been raised about the safety of the chemical acrylamide used to make them.
You have something that meets a standard, but the standard doesn't fully identify all of the toxins that could be harmful to children.
Safety advocate Jennifer Northway says it's time to update standards when it comes to potential toxins and toys. With therapies, Kipley is making progress, and Mom is on a mission, pushing the Consumer Product Safety Commission for clearer warning labels and to ban water beads as toys.
They were never meant to be a toy, and they should not be a toy now.
Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Switching gears now to a look outside with live cam here this Sunday night. Things are pretty quiet here in San Antonio in South Central Texas, but man, what a weekend, right? Early Saturday morning. Had some snow fall across portions of the hill country, scattered light rain for everybody else. It was cool out there yesterday. Today, while it was cold this morning, we actually found some sunshine out there this afternoon, made for a nice little treat to wrap up the weekend. Right now, though, those temperatures pretty chilly out there. We are in the 40s and low 50s in and around the San Antonio area, 52 over at the airport, 47 in Bandera, and 50 over in Helotes. Dew points are also pretty low right now, so that drier air is in place, but that's not going to last for long. Tomorrow, still relatively lower humidity, but then we'll start to see that build into Tuesday and Wednesday, and that is when those temperatures will start to warm back up as well. But before we can get there, the first official day of spring tomorrow, going to feel more like winter. Definitely plan on sending the coats with the kids to the bus stop if they're returning to school tomorrow. We'll have a full look at that forecast and plan out your week ahead coming up in just a few, guys.
Thanks, Mia. We'll look forward to it. Tonight, the Somerset community is mourning the loss of one of their teachers who recently died. 7th grade English teacher Suzanne Martinez. She died after a 2-year-long battle with colon cancer. This is according to school officials in a post on social media. Martinez might look familiar to some of you because she was recently featured on our Educator of the Month series back in January of this year. She had been a teacher at Brooks Collegiate Academy since 2018. Those who knew her described her as someone who always had a smile to share, a hug to give, and an ear to listen. She is survived by her husband and their 3 children.
Now to some developing stories from overnight. 2 fires leaving 2 houses destroyed. The first happened on the northeast side. Firefighters responded to the scene around 11 p.m. on Ashland Drive near Austin Highway and Lanark Drive. When they got there, heavy smoke was coming from that house. The people inside thankfully able to escape. Firefighters were able to get it out, but not before the extreme heat melted the siding of the house next door. Fire officials say the home was a total loss.
And just 30 minutes after that, over on the southeast side, another dangerous fire where one man had to escape from inside. This fire happened at a home on Caton Avenue, not far from South New Braunfels and Rigsby Avenue. Fire officials say the front half of that home was gutted by the fire. 2 other people who lived there were not home at the time. That home has been deemed a total loss, and arson is investigating the cause.
The start of the week could be a historical one if the reports of Donald Trump's pending arrests are true. What his former second in command is saying about the situation. Plus, the topic of abortion pills making headlines as one state already banned them, and Texas could be following suit.
And up next, she's more than just the wheelchair she gets around in. And now a local 12-year-old actress is turning her real-life story into a fictional superhero story. Why Sammy hopes to be an inspiration to all. All right, get this. She's an actress, clothing designer, animal advocate, and the inspiration for a new book that was just released this weekend. And oh, by the way, the San Antonio girl is just 12 years old.
So impressive. She gets around by wheelchair, but she never sees that as a disability, and neither does an inspiring author. Nightbeat producer Alexis Page talked with 12-year-old Sammy Haney about why starring in a fictional story can have a real-life impact.
I recently got nominated for the Emmys, and so I went to the Emmys. It was pretty fun.
For Sammy Haney, traveling and having experiences are just part of the gig as a young actress. She was recently a series regular on the Netflix show Raising Dion. Acting for the 12-year-old is just one of the many things she's a part of.
The store is disabilityshirts.com. We have color block designs like this and this. And my dad designs the shirts, but I approve them and stuff. And we have a bunch of shirts with like sayings to advocate for people with disabilities.
Sammy is always up for a challenge. That grit comes from a diagnosis at birth called brittle bone disease. Simple tasks have caused her to break hundreds of bones, so she uses a wheelchair. And now she's using her real-life story as an inspiration for a superhero, Savvy Sammy.
So we really built the entire character around Sammy's personality.
Trinity Jackdeo is the author of Savvy Sammy, the Superhero book. A few interactions with Sammy sparked an idea for Trinity.
We loved the way that they communicated with us and how awesome they were. We were like, we might as well turn you into a superhero book while we're at it.
Writing books is nothing new to Trinity. In fact, Savvy Sammy is the 5th book from Trinity's nonprofit called From We Can't to We Can. Previous books also highlight kids living with disabilities in superhero form. Sammy hopes this book will inspire and educate others.
I just really want to spread disability awareness and help people to realize that people with disabilities aren't really that different from a person without a disability.
Alexis Page, KSAT 12 News.
That is awesome. My
Wow.
favorite line from that story, my dad designs the shirts, but I get to approve them.
She's definitely the boss.
That's boss lady stuff right there.
It really is. Congratulations to both of those young ladies.
Good stuff. Thanks,
Amazing.
Alexis.
All right. Well, what's also I know pressure for Mia, but what's also amazing is we got to see the sun today.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
That was pretty nice, yes, because we've had an unseasonably cool weekend across South Central Texas following that cold front that moved in early Friday morning. It was cold out there this morning, definitely needed the extra layer, but this afternoon, once the clouds were able to break up and we saw some blue sky here in San Antonio, it was actually pretty nice. Daytime highs were able to top off in the upper 50s here in town. All right, tomorrow, believe it or not, already the first official day of spring. It's not really going to feel like it, at least just yet. More of a winter-like feel in store as we get ready to send the kids back to school after spring break, heading off to work tomorrow. You are going to want the jacket and the extra layers. Now, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week, that's when we're going to start to see that warming trend take back over. Spring-like temperatures return to the forecast, and also the humidity. So that means some morning rounds of fog and patchy drizzle do look to be in the works for South Central Texas really as early as tomorrow night and into Tuesday morning there as well. That is all ahead of our next cold front. This one a lot weaker in terms of impacting our temperatures, but it could potentially spark up some scattered rain and a couple of thunderstorms as we head to bed Thursday night and into early Friday morning. So still lots to talk about here over the next several days. We'll start off with a look at those chilly conditions here in San Antonio this Sunday night. 52 degrees officially over at SA International. We do have the cloud cover in place, and I do think for the most part into our Monday, generally cloudy skies look to return. But yes, it is going to be another unseasonably cold start first thing tomorrow. Upper 30s, low 40s yet again by wake up time Monday, around 41 here in San Antonio, 39 in Boerne, stretching over to Bulverde, 43 in Floresville, and 43 over in Pleasanton and Atascosa County as well. A stray morning shower possible here in San Antonio. Slightly better chances across our far western counties. Still looks to be pretty isolated. Again, generally cloudy skies around 51 by 2 p.m. and then into our Monday afternoon. Still a cooler than average day. Daytime highs topping off in the mid 50s here in town. Still some drier air in place tomorrow, at least for the most part. But once again, there's a high pressure system off to our east. So because of where we are positioned in relation to that high pressure system, winds flip in from the south here over the next few days. And you know what that means. We'll start to see more of that Gulf moisture return. So the humid feel returns as well. That's going to help those temperatures warm, but that's also what leads to those morning chances for daily fog as well as some drizzle ahead of that next storm chance that moves in Thursday night. So here's a look at our future cast depicting what the radar and clouds are expected to do into tomorrow. You can see this is morning drive time. A few isolated showers possible across our western counties closer to Del Rio, Brackettville, Eagle Pass, maybe even into our southern counties there as well. Again, it's not going to be for everybody, but then depending on how well some of those isolated showers can hold together, maybe a few sprinkles possible closer to San Antonio in between about 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then as we head into the afternoon hours, generally dry out there, but still cloudy as well. And then that drizzle starts to develop late Monday night. More of the same Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings. Look at your temperature trend. A little bit more muggy out there in the mornings as well, especially by Wednesday. Daytime highs are in the upper 60s, approaching 70 Tuesday. We're already in the 80s by midweek. And then after that front moves in Thursday night, we'll need to monitor that storm chance, but you can see temperatures not looking to be near as cool on the backside of that one as what we've seen this past weekend, guys.
Don't mind riding the weather roller coaster as long as it involves rain like this.
There you go.
We need it so bad.
Yeah, we're pulling into the station back to normal next weekend. All right, Larry will have a preview of Instant Replay right after this. Former Spurs guard DeJounte Murray was back in town, but as a member of the Atlanta Hawks today, his first game in San Antonio after the Spurs traded him back in June. With a preview of what's on Instant Replay tonight, let's check in with our friend Larry Ramirez.
Yeah, so the Spurs played a video, everybody looked up, it was cool, and the fans there gave DeJounte a nice round of applause. It was nice to see. Now, the Spurs wrapped up their 6-game homestand today by hosting DJ and the Hawks, coming up tonight on a brand new edition of Instant Replay.
Spurs family, please welcome back for the first time this year Washington, DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, DeJounte Murray received a very nice round of applause in his first game back in San Antonio since the trade. He led Atlanta with 22 points today, but it wasn't enough to prevent the Spurs from the largest comeback win of the season, erasing a 24-point hole.
Like, I feel like I can always I can always match life up with soccer, but sometimes life, things are just meant to be.
Jordan Farr is San Antonio FC's last line of defense, and he was the best goalkeeper in the USL Championship last season. Tonight we go one-on-one with Farr and talk about his soccer journey, road games, and his first child.
We'll go with Reed, and to start the game off, both quarterbacks will play, but I think it's time for Reed to get his opportunity.
Coming off a season low and XFL low 6 points last Saturday at Seattle, Brahmas head coach Hines Ward made a change at starting quarterback, benching Jack Cohn in favor of Reed Sinnott, although both would play. The Brahmas offense needed a spark tonight against the Renegades. Did it work? Plus, the Cowboys released Zeke this week, and then today traded for a wide receiver. And that leads us to our poll question tonight. How do you feel about the Cowboys' offseason moves? You can vote on Twitter. That and much more coming up on Instant Replay.
Lots of moves by the Cowboys and the Texans and everybody else.
And we've got them for you.
All right, you got to go back to the newsroom and head back to the locker room and warm up before we see you again. We'll see you coming back with investigators are looking back at some of the stocks that top executives at both recent failed banks, why this could be the key to proving any claims of insider trading.
And former President Donald Trump still claiming it could be arrested this week. Why people are worried his calls for protests could lead to another violent event like the January 6th insurrection. And the path to banning abortion pills could be a lot easier after one state has already done so. How likely the case here in Texas could do the same. Welcome back. We begin this half hour with the battle over abortion and a renewed focus on abortion pills. Wyoming's governor signing a ban into law. Yeah, meanwhile, Texas awaits a judge's ruling on the issue that could come as soon as this week. ABC's Jacqueline Lee tells us how both cases are expected to have an impact on abortion services nationwide.
New this morning, a growing push by conservative states to outlaw abortion pills. On Friday, Wyoming becoming the first state to make abortion pills illegal, with more states expected to follow suit. It makes exceptions for rape, incest, or if the mother's life is in danger. Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon also allowing a bill to pass that makes obtaining an abortion a felony, with abortion providers facing up to 5 years in prison for performing the procedure. Texas is bracing for a federal judge's ruling that could overturn the FDA approval of the abortion pill, the judge appointed by former President Trump. Proponents argue there are complications with the pill, causing harm to women.
We know in the pro-life movement that there are significant real risks associated with chemical abortion pills.
Women's rights advocates protesting outside the courthouse.
Medication abortion is the safest and most accessible option now for millions of women across the country.
Over in Florida, Republicans advanced a bill proposing an abortion ban after 6 weeks.
What's before you is an attempt to set out good policy for the state of Florida that promotes life.
Abortion rights advocates say many women don't even know they are pregnant at 6 weeks, essentially making this an abortion ban, which they say will have lasting effects across the country.
People will continue to identify ways to make decisions about their own bodies. These states and these state lawmakers and these governors are just making it harder for them to do so.
That was ABC's Jacqueline Lee reporting. In the Texas case out of Amarillo, the attorney for the abortion opponents are seeking an order that would make the FDA withdraw the pill immediately. Well, the abortion rights attorney has requested the judge put a pause on the withdrawal if a ruling is made in order to allow an appeal. We'll continue to give updates on this as they come in.
The Silicon Valley Bank collapse is now the largest bank failure since the 2008 financial crisis. And government filings now show that 2 weeks before it happened, top executives at the company sold stock totaling several $1 million. The bank's former CEO sold $3.6 million of the bank's stock back in February. Sources have confirmed to ABC News that the Justice Department and FBI are investigating. Public filings also show the executive chairman of First Republic sold more than $4 million in bank stock in January and February of this year. Bloomberg is reporting that billionaire investor Warren Buffett is in talks with officials from the Biden administration to offer cash lifelines to the struggling banks, something Buffett has done in the past.
Roll back the ability of the Fed to weaken regulations and calling for these CEOs to be held accountable. And when you explode a bank, you ought to be banned from banking forever.
Overseas, Swiss authorities already pumped more than $50 billion into Credit Suisse last week. Yet wary investigators have sent the stock down 30% in the past month. Today, UBS announced they'll take over the embattled bank.
The Manhattan District Attorney says his office will not be intimidated after former President Trump claimed on his social media platform that he would be arrested on Tuesday, along with calling for his supporters to protest. ABC News has not been able to verify Trump's claims, and ABC's Jay O'Brien explains why Trump feels so strongly an arrest is coming his way.
Former President Trump took to his social media platform on Saturday, claiming he will be arrested on Tuesday in relation to the Manhattan DA's investigation into alleged hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 presidential election. ABC News has not verified the claims, and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office providing no comment on whether such an arrest would take place. A short time later, a Trump spokesperson issued a statement seeming to walk back the claims, saying in part that there is no notification from the DA on the arrest and insisting the former president is, quote, rightfully highlighting his innocence and the weaponization of our injustice system. Some Republicans have joined Trump in his outrage. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy in a tweet calling the possible arrest an outrageous abuse of power by a radical DA. Former Vice President Mike Pence also weighing in an interview with ABC's Jonathan Karl.
It just feels like a politically charged prosecution here. And I, for my part, just feel like it's just not what the American people want to see.
No one is above the law, not even the former president of the United States.
In his post, the former president called on his supporters to protest.
I believe that people understand that if they give voice to this, if this occurs on Tuesday, that they need to do so peacefully and in a lawful manner.
Manhattan's District Attorney Alvin Bragg says he will not be intimidated in an email sent Saturday evening to his staff obtained by ABC News, writing, "We do not tolerate attempts to intimidate our office or threaten the rule of law in New York." Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
Well, in Mexico now, a family is not losing out on hope after their mother was seen kidnapped in Mexico. Now the FBI offering a reward of up to $20,000 for information to help them find her. 63-year-old Maria del Carmen Lopez was last seen now 5 weeks ago in Pueblo Nuevo. Her daughter says investigators have ruled out cartels, but believe this could be a coordinated kidnapping. The only evidence the family has is testimony from witnesses who say they saw a white van drive up to Lopez.
There was an exchange of words. She was refusing to get into the van. There was another individual who stepped out of the van and helped those two bring her inside, and they drove away.
Her disappearance comes just 2 weeks after 4 Americans were kidnapped in Matamoros, Mexico.
At least 13 people are dead after a magnitude 6.8 earthquake hit the southern region of Ecuador yesterday. The casualty update coming from the country's president. On social media, officials also say the number of people injured after that quake is now at 461, and more than 84 homes have been destroyed as a result. The quake was nearly 41 miles deep, according to the United States Geological Survey.
1 Mexico
All right, let's go back outside with live cam here tonight. Pretty chilly conditions in place right now, and it's going to be even colder as we head into the overnight hours and wake up first thing tomorrow morning. Kind of like what we saw earlier this morning. Here in San Antonio, we had an official morning low of 43 degrees. That was 10 degrees below the average for this time of year. Same as we headed into the afternoon, just shy of 60. Average high is about 75. The record for today, 90 degrees, that was set back in the 1930s. 61 was the high in Pleasanton, 60 over in Gonzales, 59 in Hondo del Rio, making it up to 54. Cloud cover held on just a little bit longer out in our western and southern counties earlier this afternoon, which led to some of those cooler temperatures. Again, right now here in Bexar County, upper 40s, low 50s. A cold start tomorrow morning. Jackets needed, but those temperatures will start to warm. We'll talk about exactly when, get you another full look at the week ahead coming up in just a few, Courtney.
Thank you, Mia. Well, the potential of what's to come at Hemisphere Park is big. The plan's already in place to benefit one particular community.